Alright, what I wanted to do is make sure that everything was adequately balanced so that we'd be able to hear DOL with whatever she wished to contribute. Hello to any and anybody, or any and everybody that may be joining after the fact. Wanted to give the chat overlay a real quick refresh. Today, we're going to be exploring Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but we're also going to have a spoiler discussion, and I didn't want to kind of screw anybody over in the event that they had not seen it. So I can assume that most of you who are here have no issue with spoilers, because I'm even going to indicate that on screen as best I can. That is the kind of discussion we're going to have. What I thought that I should do is kind of roll over you could call it a synopsis, or, you know, the plot of the movie. And that might help people who don't seem interested enough to I guess, watch it, but want a little bit of context with us going over what's happening. So I figure I'll just start there. So in the Doctor Strange movie, a character named America Chavez and an alternate version of Doctor Strange they're being chased by a demon. And basically the demon effectively catches up to both of them, is about to harvest the power from America Chavez. We learn gives her the ability to travel between multiverses. So, you know, it looks like the version of Doctor Strange we're watching kind of like seizes the opportunity to say, this is the only way, I have to take the power from you first, and he's about to kill America Chavez to get the power for himself, to stop it from going to whoever is chasing them. But, you know, bullshit happens, and America Chavez gets hurled through the multiverse into our MCU reality. There she meets Strange. The events of the movie unfold, and I guess to give you something of a spoiler alert, I really appreciated it. I would say that it's probably not, I don't know, the best of the Marvel movies, I guess, but for me, it approached what I would love to see out of a Marvel movie. It wasn't too burdened in character bullshit. Things had been established that gave us the opportunity to really enjoy some of what was going down. You know, this show or this movie couldn't have accomplished as much had WandaVision and the previous Doctor Strange movie kind of paved the way for it. But I almost want to give people a rating, like right off the bat, in case they're curious as to how I feel. But Dia, before I continue with the plot, how would you say that you felt about the movie?
Well, while I was talking to my mother, I think one of the things that has made my enjoyment of the movie that much more heightened after talking with my mom is the fact that there haven't been horror movies, good horror movies, in a really long ass time. And this movie, even though obviously by genre it is not a horror movie, it has horror movie aspects that were done so well that you could have just told me it was a horror movie. It was fantastic. It was a very fun film that I would be more than happy to sit through, you know, a couple more times. It's a fantastic film. I really loved it.
There are 4 elements of the movie that I truly, truly, truly appreciated, and make it a 9 out of 10 for me, believe it or not.
Damn.
And
Wow.
the thing that I have to say that with is with a very, very clear caveat. This shit is not for most people. I think
sure.
I'm going in there as a comic book fan, as a Doctor Strange fan, as a mutant fan. And boy, did I feel this movie give me everything that I wanted in a Scarlet Witch on the big screen movie. Got to see elements of Crazy Psycho, House of M, Mama Wanda, you know? And
So
like I have in the thumbnail, you know, she went full Karen right off the bat in the movie. And I had no problem with that, having seen the lead up from, you know, her losing her brother, her losing her lover, her, you know, dealing with Westbrook, where she truly did become the villain. But these kids, imaginary, bitch. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild. It's truly amusing. So for her to just snap, I mean, it felt so true to what I would imagine a comic version of Wanda going nuts would be like. And I feel privileged to have been able to see that. However, those aspects really only make up a backdrop as far as the plot's concerned, and the four things that I want to say elevated the movie to 9 for me are things I kind of want people in the chat, as well as you, Dia, to guess. So if you think you can guess what one of my 4 things, or whatever you think it may be, you know, made this movie a 9 out of 10 for me, well, have at it. I'm going to be super kind and just give you, even if you kind of get like a portion of it, because one of them should be like utterly obvious. I don't know if Gajil were here. He'd just, you know, he'd know it. And I think you know it too. But that being said, why'd the music just drop out? Man, some of this is like so similar sounding, man.
that's the beauty of a lot of things. And I'm sounding alike after so much production. Or overproduction, I should say. Too much of something, it just all ends up blending together.
So let me say my name so I don't miss what you're saying. Just LJ, how you doing? Oh, you just came from the theaters. Very colorful and vibrant, but there was definitely a MCU formula there. But Sam Raimi did his thing. Sam Raimi really kicked in when Wanda got out of the little trap at Carmitage. That was great. That was great. She came out that mirror all mangled. And I was like, oh, this is great. But right before that, the camera angle swooped. And Dia heard like some string stings. It was stupid as hell.
Oh,
it was like a bit too much. And I couldn't get enough of it. There's a scene where, what happened?
I said I was making jokes, man. It was great. It was such a fun time. Even at the things that I was poking fun at and making jokes about, I enjoyed.
I think the sequence was with Wanda when she like wakes up or something and is looking around, and all I remember is when there was like an ocean in the mug. I was like, this has gone on one time too many. You know what I mean? And it kept going, which I love, because it was supposed to be, it was comedy. And the only other time they did that was when there was like a door that closed and we got a slow zoom on each of their faces. And then we got a zoom on the door. And then we got a zoom on the face. And then it zoomed on the door again. And she came zipping in from the side like, I was like, what the fuck is this?
The Office kind of face zoomings just to get a good big ass image of their faces. It was great.
This movie had me crying.
Four things that you really liked this movie.
I'm worried, and I almost want to write down. Not write down, but share the things that I kind of noted.
Okay.
But I don't know if I should finish the synopsis here.
Oh, definitely finish the synopsis first.
So I like the way the movie starts because it kind of scared me. I thought this movie was just going to be ass. And one of the reasons for that, fire. One of the reasons for that is when America Chavez falls into the Bing Bong. They have this kick-ass fight sequence, and it's amusing. Even though at one point, I think Strange slices off a tentacle of the little monster thing, and if I could apply a Pokemon phrase to it, it's what I'd call super effective. So when they don't just decide to keep doing that until it's just flopping around, that kind of gets up my ass. But whatever, the scene must go on. By the way, man, the intro sequence has Strange attending a wedding where the girl that he liked before the blip, where, you know, he vanished for a couple of years, she's getting married, but it's to a black dude, and it's just a real good cooking, you know what I mean? I can't even not appreciate it. It was so ridiculous. I like a good movie just kicking a motherfucker, and that's all that was about in the beginning, is really setting up all. But then he was like a fan of him. It was bizarre. Wong shows up. He's like the god of war for a couple of seconds. And then Strange plays optometrist, and they're sitting down with America Chavez, Dia. And Dia and I sighed at exactly the same time. And I'm going to take you through the back and forth between them. So literally, America Chavez goes,
"How much do you guys know about the multiverse?"
Okay. And then they go, "We know. We had an incident with Spider-Man." And then she goes,
Spider-Man?
And they do that. They're going to do this, okay? And then they go, "He has the powers of a spider."
No. She doesn't just say Spider-Man. Spider-Woman. She corrects him as if her version of the Spider person.
She said Spider-Woman?
I'm pretty sure she said Spider-Woman.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
As if to correct them that, you know, like, oh, you're fucking wrong for saying man when it's a woman. It's just cringe. It's just cringe all over. I think that's when we both sighed after she said.
No, I know when we both sighed. I wrote it. So they go Spider-Man, and or she says Spider-Man ? And then they go, "He has the powers of a spider." And she says, "Gross. Does he look like a spider?" This is when we both sighed. This line of questioning, this waka waka, like, it had gone on too long. And what is truly bizarre is every other movie in the MCU has had fairly decent, you know, zippy, snappy one-liners that are as cringe as they can come off. Something you'd expect a comic book character to say, but they are not back and forth sequences where we have to stew in how poorly written this shit is. It's not a Crystal Dynamics game. Do you know what I mean? So Dia and I sighed at the point where she goes,
"Gross. Does he look like a spider?"
It keeps going. They go, "No, he shoots webs." And then she goes,
"Out of his butt?"
And I thought to myself, I'm gonna hate this movie, bro. I'm gonna hate this movie. But then Scarlet Witch shows up and goes full Karen, and I appreciate it. That's my I'm glad that they front loaded the movie with Chavez's garbage. You know?
That never did it again.
Yeah, she didn't ruin the movie. She was in a lot of it, as I prophesied, but she did not ruin the movie.
I will guess that one of the first things that you really appreciated about the movie was the fact that they didn't use a lot of American Chavez and she didn't fucking suck ass the entire time.
Hey, Senior, my nigga, you said it perfectly. They pushed that PG-13. I would say that would have been one of the things that could have pushed it to a 10 for me, is if some of those sequences weren't like a couple seconds, you know? They really explored that shit. Because what pisses me off is, like, I think it was Spider-Man Far From Home, where it's Mysterio, correct? And Mysterio triggered some sequences that had a undead Tony Stark with the corpse looking decrepit skull cracking through the helmet. And that was a wonderful sequence that really, if you were to tell me a Marvel horror movie is getting made and Strange is going through the multiverse and finding evil and dark versions of himself, we're running to fight Wanda or chasing Wanda through the multiverse and she's using the Darkhold, I would think, bitch, if that's what Mysterio can do to Spider-Man, then I'd imagine the whole ass movie needs to get as fucking crazy as it did right at the end. You know what I mean? The end of this movie is everything, because it's exactly the crescendo that I wanted out of a comic book on the big screen.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's kind of the fact that what is happening in the way of him kind of, assuming control of a corpse is just wonderful. And the ending scene where he's kind of like giving a pep talk to Chavez. And I would hate this scene, but because you're looking through like holes in a zombie's face, it's about as funny as a scene scripted by James Gunn. And it's earned and it works and I love it. But I before we even talk about it anymore, I want you to try to hit me with one of these 4 things.
I said one of them.
What's one of them?
America Chavez. She didn't suck so much that she was annoying or anything. Yes, the beginning portion was just laughably bad. But the rest of the film, she wasn't unbearable. She was okay. They didn't utilize her too much. She didn't say too much. She was used as sparingly as possible. And I think that was the correct way to go with a character.
I mean, it is a point in the movie's favor. I'm not insinuating that it ain't. Oh, look at Miss You see that?
Yep.
Man, these dudes used to make fans back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? What are my abilities even? I got the jump ability. There it is.
But it's not one of the 4.
What the fuck is this ability? I had ability and I hate it. Please tell me I can change. Let me change that ability. Whatever it is, it sucks. How do I know what's like assigned, so to speak? I don't. So I'll just look. It's some kind of weird. What is this? The QuickTime event over here. It's a bomb. Remember this. Cool, bomb defused. I apologize. Nope, that did not factor into my Bing Bong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually continue traveling through this thing. Chavez explains that demons are hunting her because she has the power to travel through the multiverse, and recognizing runes of witchcraft on the demon and the alternate Strange's corpse, Strange consults Wanda Maximoff only to realize that she is responsible for the demons hunting Chavez. Now, this whole sequence is actually pretty good. We get the explanation that people dreaming in the Marvel Universe is them experiencing the consciousness of a variant. That's what they're saying. Like, when people in the Marvel Universe dream, they dream of themselves, like from their perspective, but it's a variant's consciousness. So Wanda's been dreaming of a version of Wanda where her kids are alive, in a multiverse where her kids are alive, and she's using the Darkhold to try to be able to access that universe, and she's found the ability to do something called dream walking, which means you can... What is it, Dia? You can basically project your consciousness and puppet someone in another dimension, in a multiverse dimension. It's funny that we're going so crazy with the multiverse in Marvel right now, because this could have been the perfect opportunity for a bunch of original characters to be made. What do you mean? No, not in the movie. Not in the movie. I'm just saying in general. I'm thinking about Miles Morales. It's always hard not to think about Miles Morales because he was a version of Spider-Man, completely original in that way. Original Spider-Man, but in that way he was original, and he was appreciated so much they brought him over to the main universe, so to speak. But everybody else seems to just want to. Well, it's lazy. It is what it is. Senior says, the zombie Iron Man, yeah, that illusion fight was Far From Home was the best scene. Ferguson says, Breda, the Doctor Strange zombie with the demon cape was lit. I want to go ahead and tell you what. Bless you. I thought you wanted to, I love it. I just need to use my abilities. Fuck all this.
The sequence where Doctor Strange goes to talk to Wanda, I think that is where the film started for me. Everything else before it was kind of like, this is great, but can we get to it? And they got to it. I think the sequence, or the scene where Doctor Strange goes talk to Wanda for the very first time in the film, was when the movie properly started. For me.
Oh, for sure. For sure, for
I
sure.
think that was so.
I loved how little time the movie took to establish Wanda as an antagonist. It took no time. Within the very scene that she is visited, the illusion, or literally and figuratively, is broken, that she is someone to be trusted. She herself is after this power to travel the multiverse so that she can be with versions of her kids that actually exist. So,
Thank you, Linda and Teddy. They blessed me.
thank you, bless you.
Thank you.
Now, long story short, they go traveling through the multiverse and they end up in a version where there's an Illuminati, where there is a Black Bolt, which hilariously, Dia, you would not recognize from the TV show Black Bolt.
There's a TV show.
There is a TV show called The Inhumans that people did not enjoy. What is this? What does this do? Because I know this is Dum Dum Dugan, right? As made clear. No, that's just like a random douche. Fuck my monkey balls. But I loved, because we run into the Captain Marvel. We run into the Captain Carter, who is a female version of Captain America. Black Bolt is there. Mr. Fantastic is there. Dio was telling me how people are spoiling who that is on the internet, and that's fucked up.
This morning, people were talking about it, and it's like, you people can keep your fucking mouth shut for longer than a couple hours, you bitch. I hate you all.
That's what they do. They're just out there hoping.
Was it the cameo that made it for you?
I wouldn't say the camo. No, not exclusively. So I'm gonna go ahead and bundle Wanda and Charles Xavier into one thing, and it's basically just X-Men representation. Whereas, this iteration of the Scarlet Witch is not what anybody would consider probably the best Marvel villain, but for me, she was what I'd consider the most effective. Something about Thanos never felt like a threat. And maybe it's because we're watching a goody two shoes piece of shit where the good guys of course are going to win. But something about watching Wanda, this former good guy, go bad, if she's no longer good, then of course she must be vanquished eventually. That's what logic tells us. But as we're traveling with Strange in the multiverse, you're realizing good and bad is all relative. There's a good and bad version of one of y'all. And in one reality, you're bad, and the other, you're good. And Strange ain't that great either. And I love all of the shots they take at each other. Because as wrong as Wanda's actions may have been, what she's setting up with the whole, I do this thing, and I'm a villain, but you do it and you're a hero. And when he's dream walking with the corpse at the end of the movie, she's shrieking hypocrite at him. You know what I mean? Because there he is doing what he was giving her shit for. Not that there wasn't justification. And sometimes you gotta bend the rules. Yeah. It's okay because we know them and we judge their reasoning to be righteous. It's always okay when it's your friend. They're doing what they gotta do. But when it's a bad person, how dare they? Please. So I loved the X-Men. I loved when all of them were giving our Doctor Strange shit. Professor Xavier said, you know what? Just because somebody stumbles and falls, bro. He didn't let him loose. He didn't do anything. He set him up, though. He said, if you should get out. That's the kind of contingency I might expect Mr. Fantastic to impart on somebody. well, I'm not going to let you out, but if you do get out, what you need to go do is this, you know? But nope, we got it from Xavier, who maybe used his mind to get up in Strange a little bit and assess maybe this guy doesn't suck, or maybe all Stranges don't suck for a time until inevitably they do suck.
He's different, man.
It just felt like a real realization of Wanda. So that's one of my 4 things. I wonder if you'll guess any of them.
That's a good question, because I don't know if I'll be able to.
So I'm gonna, you know, like I said, bundle all of that together. X-Men representation with Wanda, with Charles Xavier, and a bit of my like comic nerd kind of like, oh, this is as close as I'm getting to a House of M kind of thing, where she does really go like, you know, like psychopath. And she was, I don't feel like they made her weak or anything like that. No.
No, they really made her a genuine fucking menace to not be dealt with lightly. Like, this is an actual threat. A threat to everything and everyone at any place in time. Like, this person is bad, and they need to be stopped at all costs. There is no little sacrifice that can be given in order for this bitch to be stopped.
I can't believe it's just a ball that I threw. Like, I was spending years trying to unlock the new ability, and it was just like a little ball. That's bullshit. So, let's see. While searching for help, they're arrested by Mordo, who initially it seems is like a good guy that welcomes them with open arms, and nope. It was great because the sense of security that we get for a moment with him going, I knew that you'd be coming because you knew that you'd be coming. Apparently that universe is Strange was dead, the Illuminati universe, and the new Strange coming was made to seem like, this universe is Strange believed that a Strange would show up eventually. So he ends up in a cell with America Chavez, and Christine, the woman that he loved, or a version of her in this universe, is there too. And then Wanda shows up and goes fucking crazy and kills everybody. Can I tell you something that I knew and I loved?
What?
I knew those people were getting dead. Do you know why?
Because it would be too nice to have them.
There was a telltale sign, though. Even though we are, I believe we are meant to assume that these incarnations, specifically John, is it Jim Krasinski?
John.
Specifically John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic. Even though I think we're meant to believe that we will see future incarnations of Mr. Fantastic, and it will be played by him too. Yep. Maybe a less bearded version, you know, to indicate that he's not the old version from here. He doesn't have kids yet or anything like that. He hasn't met Susan. Long story short, I could tell that those iterations of them were dead because of how whack their outfits were, Dia. Like, it was wonderful seeing a Mr. Fantastic on the MCU screen, but that suit looked like it was made by Crystal Dynamics. Whatever that was, it was not a permanent suit. And I think if anybody had seen a suit that caliber in an MCU movie, they'd assume that, okay, this is like a Mark 1, and they'll end up with another one later in the movie. But because we were in an Illuminati universe, I knew, these guys are dead. And what a terrifying sequence where I'm saying this is the definition of an effective villain, where, you know, they show up and people get dead. Shit. It's not like, only certain henchmen are available. No. Everybody die.
And that was great. And I liked it.
Hello to Tuquavius. Hello to Commander. How come Black Bolt wasn't immune to his own power? Movie bullshit because of the plot. You know what I mean?
I have questions about
also it's the multiverse, so this is a version of him where he isn't. What are the questions, darling?
As it pertains to Black Bolt.
Yeah.
When did he manifest his powers? Or was he just born with them? if he was born with him, with his powers, how did people not die as him being a baby?
I'm sure people did. And if what you want to do is watch a Black Bolt video after this, we can. Because I don't expect people in the stream to be giving us intense answers. Not because I don't trust your knowledge on it, but because, you know, we might as well just get it straight from some geek source with a edited video. Long story short, darling, from what I understand about many of the Inhumans that may not extend to the royalty that I understand that Black Bolt is, many of them got their powers by being exposed to something called the Terrigen Mists, which is yet another space, I want to say oddity, but I need to chill, which is yet another space anomaly, not unlike...
The Phoenix Force?
Good. You're a fucking dork now, because I got Dia watching all this garbage. Dia's too hot and sexy a girl, man. I need to fix the shit out of her computer so she can go sit on camera and just get me out of her, like sweat me out of her, because it's all nerd shit all the time. Sometimes I gotta reel it in and go, why are we watching gaming things right now? It's nuts. But she knows, yes, it is not unlike the Phoenix Force, but these motherfuckers mutated, not unlike that of mutants. But I'm pretty sure there's racism there too. I was Tokyo drifting while I was touching some dudes. Stop punching, you're Doctor Strange. You wow motherfucker. I don't like the ball attack. It just looks so wheedly. Try not to take an hour fucking assigning the things this time. You jello pudding pop. What's a mind wipe? Seems cool. What if mind wipe was what I was doing before and it was trash? Ooh, looks cool, but I mean... What you mean? Yeah, I like a projectile attack like that. So I got fire, I got the mind wipe, and I get that thing. Step right up, gentlemen. Aw. Damn, man. We're all so strong, it's like, oh, what about that guy, guys? You know, man, they got a really small aggro range. Okay. That's pretty pathetic. Anyway, I loved... the fan service, because that's what I felt like it was. The scene of the movie for... What's your scene of the movie, Dia?
What is my scene of the movie?
What's your scene of the movie? Give you some time.
Yes.
For Kyle, because I'm a music dweeb, it's the music fight.
Yep. And I even said it. Are you enjoying this because it's essentially a music
It
fight?
was the scene of the movie for me. It's one of the few things I'm going to want, you know, just to play at any time. Creative, ridiculous, straight out of a comic book, man. If the movie could have managed even 2 scenes like that, it had been a 10 out of 10 and like one of my favorite Marvel movies, full stop. I don't know how they executed it so well. It's easy to have that kind of idea for a scene, but to execute it like that, I fucking loved it. Cinematography was on point. A close second for my favorite scene in the movie. I think I told you. Do you know what it is? It's the Mordo sequence. There's a sequence in the movie when Mordo welcomes Doctor Strange and America Chavez with open arms into what might be the Sanctum Sanctorum of that Illuminati universe, but we as a viewer are not aware that we are being taken for a ride, and he is actually arresting them, and he drugs them both. And in the middle of this sequence, we have an explanation of what dreamwalking is, what Wanda is capable of as the Scarlet Witch, how she can, like, you know, trip across the multiverse and find us. And we also have it intercut with Scarlet Witch doing that as the description is being given. And bruh, with some of the, there was like a bleed in. There was like it was just a fun little sequence. I think I wrote it on the Discord that I think this movie feels out of time, and that the people that I think it's meant for would be the types of people that like Beetlejuice or Evil Dead. You know what I mean? Evil Dead. And this was great, but for me, it was still restrained. And I hated that. The very end when you summon the corpse and all of those fucking ghoulish fucking... Obviously, they're showing up as like they're saying you are not meant to be here. They're almost like cursed and bound to just protect this place. And Strange takes control of them too. To make a demon what?
So from what we saw in the film, I think it's more so that they appeared because he told
Christine
from the universe where the Illuminati exists. He told him, "I need you to be here to fight off the damn souls that are gonna come after me," because he had an idea on how to be able to like project himself in the universe where original bad Wanda was. And I think it was more so because he broke a rule. That's when they appeared. It wasn't because they were protecting the place. It was because he broke that rule, and that's what happens when you break that rule of you puppeteering a corpse. It's just the damn souls come and grab your ass.
So
I could be completely wrong, but that's how I interpreted what he meant. And what happened was that they were coming after him when they realized that there is just a corpse shambling around and it's being puppeteered by someone that isn't even them. It's another Strange. And that's bad, and you don't do that.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm sorry. Let me adjust. Check what was being said. Ferguson says have to go through Terrigen Mist. Inhumans are mutants. They are just not activated yet. They are basically like dormant, or I don't know, with genes or cells that have not been activated. Top River's like the Illuminati scene. Tuquavius Harvey says Kyle, the Black Bolt, maybe it's like kinesis, like with X-Men villain Pyro. He can control fire, but he cannot generate it. Yeah. We're going to look this all up.
Yep, because I don't know.
Senior says Elizabeth Olsen's performance was 10 out of 10. I'm glad that she could have as much fun now as... Let me say it to you like this. In the gaming world, there's like a huge effort to desexify things. Like that's what's going to save the world and save women, is if we desexify things. Comedically, I can tell you as a man, the more you withhold this kind of shit, the more you make it like something that men are going to fiend for and get thirsty for. And that's why Twitch has become what it is because y'all trying so desperately to borderline make it so that the only representation for women are butch, ugly, fucking men. You know what I mean? And forgive me for going too far, but I like a woman to look like a woman. Women can come in all shapes and sizes, but that's something that literally needs to be reiterated to them because they're trying to get to the little boy shape, and that's fucking it. How does that translate to this? When you have confident women, attractive women, curvy, big titty, big ass women, they like to have fun. These are the types of girls that have no problem trying out or auditioning for a horror flick, knowing, they're going to want you to take your top off. They're going to, you know what I mean? They are your Amber Heard, Megan Fox types that are a bit narcissistic. But their cast, the person you need them to be, is kind of into themselves, is kind of aware of how they look and the effect that they have on others. It suits their character, and that comes through in the way of fun. We don't have a lot of people who are allowed to have fun as villains in the Marvel universe. But when I think about it, I always point to Hela. Kate Blanchett had she was really having some fun with them scenes. And it really, like, there are a few times where I watch things and I'm more interested in the behind the scenes or the outtakes. But Hela on Thor Ragnarok had me really curious. And that's the kind of fun that I wanted for all of the people in the MCU, if that's how crazy they want it to be. You guys know how fucking fine Scarlett Johansson is. Watch some movies that ain't in the MCU, bro. Scarlett Johansson got no problem throwing around how damn fine she is, son. She's in movies where that's her whole ass character. Ain't nobody clowning or mad or, oh, that's so two-dimensional. How dare you? Bro, she's hot, and that's the thing. And she enjoys, eating up certain scenery that asks that of her. Can I say something to you? You ever watch Chris Evans in a fucking movie? Chris Evans is as sexy and aware of how good-looking and charming he is in everything. Hopefully you've seen more than just Scott Pilgrim or I think the movie's called Sunlight, Dia?
Sunshine.
Sunshine? My gosh, just watch Chris Evans. Look at this dude back there. You see this dude on screen behind us? That's how people act when they see Chris Evans. They're just like, you know what I mean?
And he played Johnny Storm. And
he played charming, charismatic Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four initial movies.
It was fantastic because the moment he came on screen, you could immediately tell two things: this guy's an asshole, and this guy I like.
I'm on to something, Dia. I'm on to something. Can I say something? Can I say something? You know damn well when Chris Hemsworth is in another role, he's fucking going nuts too. And having fun with the hotness of himself and the confidence. It's like Jason Momoa. These people are aware that what they bring to the table is something attractive. And it's not something that they should shamefully hide or put away because it doesn't portray people in the correct light. This movie had Elizabeth Olsen leaning fully into the crazy fucking mom character. She delivers lines like, but not limited to, I'm not crazy, Steven. I'm just a mother. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was another line that had me fucking losing it. Oh, it's one of my four. Would you like to hear another one of my four? The first one was mutant representation. The second one was the music fight, forgive me. Mm-hmm. The third one was the delivery of the line, you'll have to kill me this time. Some shit like that, he said. It'll take more than killing me to kill me.
This time, yeah. I was gonna say two things. One, as far as my top scenes, or my top scene, it's a tie between the death scenes of every character from the Illuminati universe. Mm-hmm. All of their death scenes, I think, were done wonderfully. It was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And the other one was the entire sequence of Doctor Strange getting corpse Doctor Strange from another universe to go and do this shit.
You're right. That is a portion of my final. Yeah.
It's between those because that entire sequence, it's a little cheesy with some of the camera work, but it works so well.
The three sequences that work for me for the movie getting that Raimi touch, and I'm not saying that there weren't other sequences where Raimi kind of rang through, but the only three that I super duper felt it, Dia, was when we have Mordo explaining the dream walking and how Wanda has more than one way to get them where they are when they're drugged. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's my top one as far as what I love for sequences. The second one is at the end when Strange is taking control of all of these creepy bastards. There's this weird sequence that I almost want to wonder if it's clay, if it's puppet work. That's the kind of shit that I want my mind to be asking questions as I'm seeing something. You know what I mean? Because the jarring distinction between the different styles is not unlike fucking Courage the Cowardly Dog. You know what I mean? Where you're seeing these things and you're like, these things don't belong in the same scene together. And that was my second one. But there was a third one, and it was the one where I thought it was going on too long, and that made it a little bit funny in a Tim and Eric Andre kind of way. With the kitchen sequence.
With Scarlet Witch trying to take over.
Yeah.
the Illuminati universe.
Wanda. Yeah. Ay. What happened?
I also really like the design of Wanda as the movie progresses. By the time she finally sees her kids in the flesh herself, they're terrified. She is a witch. She is this terrifying creature monster that is hurting their mother. But it looks
It
like
is a brilliant sequence,
and
yes.
it's so, I don't know. I feel like that scene is so raw, and I'm kind of happy. That
It's kind of unearned, in my opinion, because of how perfectly it plays out.
Yes.
Like, Chavez, up until this point, basically can't control her power. We get a little bit of a pep talk, and now she can. Fine. She aligns it with the universe that she kind of just fucked up. Or maybe even another universe. Who knows? Right? But she does it right at the time where, I guess, Scarlet Witch just comes through and busts Wanda right in the mouth. That could have gone a lot of other ways. But what I love is then when in the midst of the scene when she's like, oh my God, I'm going to stop this. And then Corpse Strange is like, wait, let it keep going. If this movie were just funnier, Dia, it would be perfect Raimi schlock. I will say that I am excited to watch it again. I just didn't get enough. I didn't get enough Raimi. I didn't get enough Raimi in that, dude. I think if we did have more Raimi, it would have bored the kids. Do you agree with that?
I think, unfortunately, whether it is a lot or it is a little of Sam Raimi in that film, people will either like it or not. I think, unfortunately, for some people, it'll sit just right, and for some people, it'll be such a snooze fest that is so unappealing, and I'm never watching this again. But I guess this is set up for future shit. I guess that's the only reason I ever need to know that I saw it, you know. And it sucks because I don't want people to dismiss this film because it's so great. But
But the film definitely ain't for, yeah.
I 100% agree that it is not for everyone. You know, again, as I was talking to my mom, she's like, "Oh, I've been hearing all these good things about it, and I was wondering if you think it's good." And I'm like, I think it's fantastic, and I think you'll like it because there are elements of a genre that is obviously not 100% a part of the film in there that make it so enjoyable for me. I really enjoyed the comic book portions, and I think the thing that enhanced it the most for me was the fact that you could go, oh my gosh, look, it's like in the comic books. It's those moments that can come out of someone that comic books.
Who the Sorcerer Supreme now?
What the fuck? Damn! Alright, Anil, with my fairy princess style. Give it up. Anil had to lay it down, and here he has arrived. Let me see how he felt about this movie. I apologize, dear. Thank you, Anil. You are... My God, he's decimating this. I put the goal up today, and it'll be destroyed soon. Anil, how are you? How are you so powerful? Happy belated birthday. I'm seeing who is this? But the damned failed. They became a rad demon cape. Coolest thing in the movie, clearly.
I'm pretty sure I was shouting it when it was happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he got a really cool, like,
so cool, man.
coat.
It felt like he swooped up like a Dementor up there, man.
Yeah.
That shit was ghastly. I fucking loved it. All of them arms coming off. Fuck yes, man. Those are undead arms now, bro. Magic arms. Pff, you know what I mean? These are undead arms. Ugh. Oh my God. Like I'm saying, we really enjoyed the opportunity for her to truly feel like the Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
Man, I saw somebody saying that there was a better love interest being set up. And you're very, very correct. Oh, Cornelion saying, can we appreciate the potentially better love interest? Hello to Anil. What's Anil saying? Elijah said, I remember Strange asked why take the power, knowing it will kill her. I remember that. Said, why are you taking the power from this bitch? You know it's going to kill her. And she's like, well, what if
What if my children get a cold? I'll need to nip over to the other multiverse.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, you crazy bitch. Anil says, I'm still not sure yet. I enjoyed the movie a lot, but I can't give it a score yet. It's a 9 for me, Anil. And we were just discussing why. There were four essential things that made me really, really love it. And I'll go over them again. Why not? Ferguson, no, don't burp. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry. You guys and Anil deserve better than this. And I'll do better. I'll drink water, she says. Maybe with water I won't be burping. Anil says, I loved the movie for adding the horror elements. Didn't we all?
Yep.
And if we could have gotten an R-rated movie with Sam Raimi, that would have been the fucking coolest thing in the world, man. We got Logan now. We got Deadpool now. And we got this movie. You know? I think the people who like comic books, man, they can't hate this movie. This fucking movie is perhaps one of the closest to a comic book we fucking got. Different versions of the characters that show up and almost instantly die just to show you what a big deal this character version is. It doesn't harm our universe, you know what I mean? It's just in the context of this plot and story. This movie is as close to a fucking comic book story that we could ever get on the big screen, and it's because it played fast and loose and did it with style. You know what I mean? Wasn't as amazing and crazy as it could have been, but I loved it. And on the surface, the package of the movie really, 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 really works for me. We got them traveling to a Willy Wonka fucking dimension where the Illuminati's there, and then literally Fantastic gets pulled apart like fucking taffy, Dia. You know?
I have a question for you.
What's up?
How would you rate it in comparison to The Dark Knight? As far as Sam Raimi making the film about this character, how he was able to write and present, or not maybe write.
That's a really confusing question to me, babe. I need to know what you mean by bringing up Dark Knight versus Multiverse of Madness.
You love Dark Knight as a comic book movie.
Yes.
So how does
it stack up against this?
Yes.
Which is better for me.
No. How do you love it just as much as that film?
Yes, and for different reasons and in its own way. I don't really need to compare them to one another. And unfortunately, Dark Knight is always going to win because it fundamentally somehow provides what I would consider the equal experience for a person watching it as a comic book fan and a person just watching a movie. You know? I don't think Doctor Strange works without a bit of immersion in what makes Wanda crazy and who Strange is and why he feels so much like he's missed out with this bitch from his first movie. Like, because it's earned now. I would
May I join you for discussion?
Oh, he trying to get in here now, man. He trying to get in. I'm opening up Discord. So, what I'm gonna say is, this movie was really nourishing to me. But I'm opening up Discord. Thank you, and I'll be able to do it in person. Sure. Oh, honey, no. I think you're going through the wrong speakers. Say something.
Hello.
Let me try this again. Say something.
Hello.
Ooh, the boy's good. First try. So.
What a movie.
Wait a minute. Why don't I just have you go out in the speaker and then it'll pick up both of you? Yeah. All right, so how did you feel about that, Anil?
It was a lot different.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, I'm stopping. I'm stopping now.
It was a lot different. Oh, Lord. I can hear myself.
Yeah, he can hear himself. So I'm going to put it in my headset, and hopefully it's loud enough that you'll be able to hear him, Dia, because I do not have, the... So I'm turning one of my ears off to face you. It's coming, Dia. It's coming. Wait a minute. What do you need?
What do you mean? What do I need? The line that connects to it. I thought you ordered it.
I did. Someone if I came away. You didn't see anything, right?
No, that was the only thing that I saw, and it was outside.
No, I mean just on this list just now.
I'm confused. What?
Did you see anything on this list just now when I was scrolling?
No. I just
Good,
saw the
because
hot
one
sauce
of
and
those
that's it.
things is supposed to be a surprise. It says it's arriving today at 9 p.m. So today is today, not yesterday. Glad. Anil,
I'm
I
glad
apologize.
today is today.
Please.
No, not at all.
Please tell us what you're saying, yeah.
Okay, so the movie was very different than I expected, and I think that was a good thing for sure.
Obviously. We were all worried.
We were all worried.
Yeah.
Worried how? Because of Chavez?
Well, there was Chavez, and then, like, the troubled production of the movie.
Yes, reshoots. We're hearing about
Yeah.
gay scenes. What are you doing? What's going on in this movie? All of that was put to rest, but honestly, I had forgotten about it by the time the ball had been gotten rolling in
Yeah.
that movie, and I just enjoyed every bit of it. I'm
I'm
surprised.
gonna be honest with you, I stayed away from a lot of, like, the spoilers and stuff, for, like, what the movie was gonna be about, story-wise, and I never watched WandaVision, so I had no idea Wanda was gonna be the villain for this
You
movie.
fucker! You didn't watch WandaVision?
No, I didn't.
What?
I know what happened in it to some degree, like, but I never actually watched it myself.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say. I can't throw WandaVision under the bus. I did enjoy it, even if it was what I would consider accumulates to no more than 3 episodes. And how many episodes of that were there?
12, I think.
Jesus.
No. I think it was
8?
8 or 9. 8 or 9. Around there.
It was
wasn't that
probably 2 or 3 too many.
many. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and I realized that all the other Marvel shows seem to have hit the perfect balance, but I think clearly they want to tell a crazy-ass story through Wanda. She's signed for, like, a bunch more years. You know that, Anil?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
Olsen signed for years, so ain't no we gonna pretend she's dead thing going
7
on.
years.
She
Oh,
is
hell
signed
no.
for years. I'm sorry to people if I'm missing you. Say my name so I don't miss you. I love you. I see you. But to just yeah.
I was really happy with how they portrayed her. That she was crazy. Oh my god.
But I want you to know that's comic book, man.
Right?
And here's what pissed me off when I got it on screen. When she rolled up to Carmitage, and I was like, no, bitch, you're gonna lay waste to these people so you can fuck off to another fucking... And it was so like Rick and Morty kind of Sanchez, just...
Right?
These people
It
don't...
was. It
They,
was that
like,
energy.
they don't exist to you. They're not real to you because you're the only person that matters is you fuck off. Sorry, what happened?
There was a scene in that whole sequence that I really enjoyed. Do you remember? Because I even pointed it out.
No.
It was when that black woman, who sounded like she may have been from, like, Wakanda or something, when she came in, like, did some gestures, spoke a couple of words to Wong, and then sacrificed herself.
Oh my god, that sequence was great
Yeah.
It
because
was
you
so
could feel that it was
sad.
like so important
And
what this
Yeah,
bitch is
so
doing.
weighted. Yeah.
Like, this is a huge sacrifice this person's making. How can she even be there? Can she move unseen? We didn't get an explanation for none of that. And I really loved feeling like, dude, we're watching a fucking superhero thing. So that's just her power, and we're not going to get any more explanation than that. You know what I mean? But it was great feeling, like I said to Dio before, I don't know if you heard it, that this was a on-screen comic book that I'm watching.
Yeah.
We're starting
absolutely.
off with alternate versions and a character that can fuck through different multiverses. She's the only version of herself that exists. She doesn't dream when she sleeps. Everybody who dreams, they're actually seeing a different multiverse
I was
variant of
pleasantly
themselves.
surprised with America Chavez. I thought she was going to be unbearable, but
And-
not at all.
And that's what I was telling to Kyle, too, that I'm very surprised and very happy that Sam Raimi kind of probably understood what this character meant especially for every fan out there, and utilized her and got her cringy dialogue.
I'm gonna say this
and
to
all
you
this
guys.
shit
I'm gonna say
before,
this to you guys.
and then really used her properly and adequately.
I'm gonna say this to you guys. I think in this instance, Marvel and the writing understood not to make Chavez center stage in a way where her cringe could be unleashed. And I'm gonna say this. If any of you decide to watch a single episode of Ms. Marvel when that show goes live, you are going to see what America Chavez definitely was in a draft of this movie. There's probably 3 more scenes, like the scene in the fucking, in the beginning of the movie when they're doing the Spider-Man bit, and that's so funny, and we didn't do like an exact version of that in the other movies, you know what I mean? Stop joking about Spider-Man. You know what I mean? He's the most popular of all of you. We get that he's a joke among you guys. This joke's tired. You know what I mean? Not a big deal. Oh, we had an incident with Spider-Man. You guys have a Spider-Man? Yeah. Shoot webs on his butt? I'm dying. And that thing isn't the worst thing in the world. She's young. And contextually, a scene like that helps to reinforce how immature or young she is. But if the writing had their way, if the script, in my opinion, could have reflected the draft that Disney probably wanted most to really solidify the character of America Chavez for whatever bullshit they set up in the future, I think there would be at least 3 more scenes that cringe with her in it. But somehow, Anil, there was only one. There was only one scene that bad, and all the other ones were totally fine. And I had no problem with it. I didn't think they slowed the movie down. And the one that I might have had a problem with was at the very end of the movie when we get reverse shots of Zombie Strange. Half of his fucking face is off, so you can't help with your eyes just drifting to the back of his skeletal jaw. It's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. This is funny. And Raimi's choice to do that shit in a way where it's played for laughs, I really appreciate it.
It was great.
That music scene was like my life. I never thought I'd get to see something like that.
Oh, I loved the magic in this movie. It was so fun.
It's supposed to be that silly, that crazy, that visually dynamic. When he came out with the dragons, Dia, I was having a little boy moment.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I like Doctor Strange, so I'm going to love this movie. Is it one of the greatest MCU movies? No. Is it one of the better movies in general? Hell no. But for me, with the setup that they established, and that's the specific thing with these Marvel movies now, isn't it, Anil? We don't get to judge them as singular movies, full stop. We can judge them as movies, and they should be judged as singular movies, but the truth of the matter is these characters have been established, these same iterations of these characters, canonically in other TV shows, other movies, and their story isn't just limited to what we see here. So the things that we're seeing right now are actually icing those cakes. And seeing Wanda come here after all the places she's been, it's not just something that makes us go, put that villain out of her misery. It's something that makes us go, man, it's been a long time coming. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's been a long time coming, and here it is. And it felt good for me. But I think you are giving me the energy, which is to say, no, not like giving me energy, like I'm taking it from you, but the energy I'm getting from you is a bit of relief over the fact that it certainly wasn't as abysmal as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
that was
I was worried.
Can I say something? I enjoyed that better than Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, hell yeah.
I gotta agree. Yeah.
I think that's it sounds like blasphemy.
Right, it does, but
as
like
a fan,
when you see it, you just get it. You understand.
Spider-Man No Way Home was fun, and it was a celebration. And if I'm being honest with myself, Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 are my least favorite Marvel movies ever. That's saying something. I can appreciate things like Daredevil with Ben Affleck and Elektra and Catwoman and all this shit. I can appreciate those on levels, but I don't want to see those fucking Amazing Spider-Man movies again. They feel like the Crystal Dynamics of the bunch. They're the cash grabs exclusively. That's why it exists. And that's okay. But I don't hate Andrew Garfield's performance or iteration of Parker. In fact, I probably prefer it. He edges out Tom Holland for me. Not because Tom Holland sucks or because he's too young, but because of a lot of factors with Tom Holland's bitch-made sucking the ass out of Tony Stark version that existed for way too long. And I didn't get to see like the characterization of him that I should have seen. Maybe over the course of 3 Spider-Man movies, we're talking about Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, I should have seen a college Parker by now. Make Tom Holland go to college. What is this? And he still, I just fucking hated it. I don't know. Something about that Parker doesn't work for me. I appreciated those movies way more than I did Amazing Spider-Man, but I appreciated No Way.
That kind of Parker works for 1 or 2 movies, and then you gotta change it up. It's good for like a 1 movie, really.
I say that to say, as much as I appreciate the celebration of Spider-Man No Way Home, which at the same time is also an inferior movie to Into the Spider-Verse for how much of a celebration that is of the Spider-Man. That's not just a visual ejaculation of like art in many different forms. I think that movie is to the eyeballs what 3D wants to be to people when they're like, you have to experience it in this different way. That movie was an experience for me, bro. So as much as a celebration as Spider-Man No Way Home was, it was still a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. That's my least favorite Spider-Man. But you know who I don't consider my least favorite Doctor Strange? But in fact, I now regard as perfectly cast for Strange as like Xavier. Dia and I feel the same way. Like he's just the one of the better, like potentially best casts for a role like this is Benedict Cumberbatch. And he portrays, dude, what I loved in this movie of him is watching his other version with him acting.
Yes.
My favorite shit out of Strange was him as the evil Strange at this ruined version of reality. And I'm like, that's the same guy, but it feels like a different guy. Well shot, well scripted, well lit. Everything was great. But it wasn't just how that scene was shot. The performance was subtly spooky with the other Strange.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. I like that a lot because it makes me feel like this is the guy that I like from the comics. That's who it felt like with all the weird spells and shit.
I really appreciated how dark this movie was. I wasn't expecting it to be dark like that.
I think it's easy for me to get caught up in saying things like, I wish it was more gory. I wish it had like longer sequences. But I think sometimes it's about give and take with making a movie that will appeal.
I would say it was,
yeah.
To me, like, I was talking to a friend earlier about, how, it's kind of disappointing they didn't give it the R rating. But I felt like this was as close as they could get. Without,
for once I do feel that way. The same way I kind of felt this way with like this is way back in the day with Warner Brothers making DC shows. Yeah. I was like, God, I hate the majority of this. But if this is what it takes for it to get made, you know what I mean? I bet some furries feel that way. I bet some transgender people feel that way about their inclusion in things. Whereas some of us feel kind of pandered to. Other people are just like, oh my God, I'm so glad it's happening. Whatever it needs to be. But sometimes it does suck to a point where you don't just want to be represented in anything. But this isn't one of those cases. I really appreciated all the things they did. And as kind of lazy as some of the sequences were, I appreciated the idea of it all. I think this is the ultimate comic book movie for me because as stupid as the scene is, where Patrick Stewart's in a void and he opens a door and there's like Wanda trapped beneath the rubble and he's trying to help her out, but then the smoke comes all over him and then she cracks his neck and it happens in real life. That's it. It's so quick in its execution. It's so typical of like 8 panels on a comic book page.
Yep.
This is a movie where I want to see the storyboards that didn't get made into scenes, because as I said before this movie came out, and I feel like you're probably going to identify with me in regarding how the movie's just kind of different from everything we imagined. For me, and you maybe remember me saying it before, I thought it was going to be like Strange and Chavez going down a hallway and every other door had a dimension they were going to pop into. And one door they'd go through and there'd be X-Men in there. Another one they'd go through and there'd be some monsters and they'd run through the doors like Scooby-Doo until we finally decided to tie a bow on this motherfucker at the end and go from there. But there was a plot. The plot worked. It wasn't convoluted like a lot of shit is these days.
Yeah.
And you know why? Here's why you probably should have been worried for this movie. You want to know one of the bigger movies to come out recently was Marvel? We can't even remember the name, my nigga. We're thinking... No, fuck Morbius. We're all thinking about one of the last big Marvel movies that came out. Try to remember the name, bro. What's the name? Immortals?
Immortals.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Immortals sounds wrong.
No, Eternals.
Exactly, bro. We can't remember the name. Have you seen it, Anil?
You know I have not.
Yeah.
You know I damn well have not.
I have not.
No,
but I have sat with a glass of wine to enjoy somebody ripping that shit apart on YouTube, bro. And let me tell you, man, from the sound of it, it sounded confused. And if you have too much to put into a movie, don't try to extend it. Don't try to condense it. Just do something else. But with Eternals, it was clear they wanted a lot of exposition out there. And I hope they lost some damn money on it. Did that come out only on streaming or was it in theaters?
What?
I think it was in theater too.
I hope they lost some damn money on Eternals. You fucking kidding me? And it looks so woke, and we were right. We were right to discern in looking that they were just trying to appeal to too many check marks with this one. And you have to feel bad for everybody in it, don't you?
Yeah.
Who could know? Who could know that this was a landmine of a Marvel film that most fans would be able to gauge how woke it was from the outside enough to know, don't go see that. Don't go see that. So unironically, more people end up going to see Captain Marvel because they think it's necessary for what's coming in the way of Endgame than they would to go see this thing with a ticked box from everybody's, ethnicity or affiliation.
I think that's another thing, is where people have learned their lesson from Captain Marvel, like, oh, we really don't have to see every fucking movie, because this shit isn't always gonna be relevant.
They get away with it one time. And now people know. I think Eternals was a sign of that. People were like, nah. Either way, this was really surprisingly good. And I appreciate and understand that as much as I would have killed for more borderline Tim Burton Beetlejuicy kind of scenes where they're kind of unapologetically working in a puppet that they don't care that looks like a puppet. I want shit like that. I want shit like that in my... oh, man! And we got cock-teased. With the scene of the movie for re-showing purposes. For showing off how great your TV looks purposes. The scene of the movie in that regard is when they fly through all the bitch-ass dimensions and they go through a paint one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a high def version of that on the internet right now. They already let that thing loose. They already were like, you want to come see this on the big screen? Wow. Genius. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Combined with Thursday's 36 million domestic, the global total for Doctor Strange so far is already 121 million, and the weekend has barely begun.
It's just day 2 official.
This is a good movie though, and it deserves it. It deserves it. I don't get to say
it's not just it's that. Getting what it deserves.
It's not just the fact that it's a good movie. Obviously, after you watch it, you know that it's a good movie. But I think it's also purely the fact because it's another Marvel movie. It's another Doctor Strange film.
But we say that on the heels of what we just said. Eternals, Shang-Chi. That's not diving into, and it's not just because, okay, it's dealing with an Asian, it's dealing with like a kid and some Hispanics, and you know what I mean? They don't get to just dump it on one ethnicity and say, look at this, we're in Atlantis. Yay. I think dealing with established characters is a factor.
Absolutely.
Don't you? Because the weird gamble that they made with Eternals and Shang-Chi was that they didn't even go forward with any marketing to make it seem as if someone we knew was going to be in that. They did that even with the Marvel shows. Even if it wasn't like a big name cameo, it was almost necessary. That's fan service.
Like Hawkeye's a great example of that, where they threw a bunch of characters in there. They were like, please.
It was actually kind of baffling that, this is what you're deciding to do. Oh my God, the camera hung over there like I could physically get it clipped between something. Maybe I've done it again. How is it that easy? Yeah.
I saw a really funny take. Someone saying, and I think you can just attribute it to the entirety of that universe. But they treated Illuminati universe like they treated the first 5 minutes of Suicide Squad.
Okay. Yes, you're right. First of all, a lot of the people who were in the comment section, I apologize if it seemed like I was going past what you were saying. If you want me to see what you're saying, write my name, CYAEL, because it'll highlight it. And it makes my ADHD brain work a little bit smoother. Chronic said, I can guess Kyle loved it. I'm excited. Of course. It was great. What I'm going to say is this, because I know some people were saying, look at how fast she killed Mr. Fantastic. They're very correct to say that. As a fan, of course, they're very correct to say that. Mr. Fantastic is the Batman of the Marvel Universe, in that he is Mr. Contingency. He's the biggest brain in the Marvel Universe, and long story short, the comedy that a version of Mr. Fantastic that is aware of the multiverse and other versions of Strange and Wanda doesn't have something in the way of a catch-all or a plan.
Were woefully unprepared.
He waltzed out there and was like, hey, don't do this. I was like, yes. It wasn't a fake, like, Mr. Fantastic. There was no plan. It sucked.
I gotta say,
that's the one thing that really sucked, Sucked.
Do you want to know why I think he was woefully unprepared?
Why?
Because I think their universe Wanda was just so...
No, babe. Mr. Fantastic.
Not with some crazy bitch from another
I know, sweetie, but let's not diss Mr. Fantastic like that.
I'm not saying that every Mr. Fantastic is like that. I'm saying this one perhaps.
I know listen to me, Dio. What you just said was that maybe their version of Wanda was nice. I want you to know that Mr. Fantastic is always portrayed as smart enough to defy almost the writing of the comic sometimes. They're almost as intelligent as we could be as the reader thinking up bullshit. So Mr. Fantastic would never allow just one variants' behavior to influence what he believes other variants might be like, he didn't have a plan. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not who that character is in any iteration. Nor, if the excuse was to be made that, oh, maybe just this version of Mr. Fantastic isn't that smart, what the fuck's he doing on the Illuminati then? What's his deal? Is he like the stretchiest man in the planet that you decided to put him on there because of that? My point is, babe.
Well, yeah, he's the stretchy one because they took that away from Kamala Khan.
My point is, Dia, this universe, the Illuminati universe, was very, 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 very aware of the multiverse and different iterations, as made clear by Christine. Remember? So Mr. Fantastic, he would be smart enough to have contingencies even if his universe's Wanda were nice. But we have to assume that he was aware of universes where she wasn't, and we have to assume that he would also have contingencies in place for her as well. However, as we have made clear a bunch of times, this nigga didn't. This nigga stepped down there and was like, and I stretch, and that was that. My God, it truly was like the opening in Suicide Squad, and we could not have imagined. And you know what the beauty of that scene was? They made Xavier go last, and we actually had hope. But for the third time on the big screen, ladies and gentlemen, we watched Professor Charles Xavier die. How gifted we are.
Right?
How gifted we are, because let me tell you something. What I love about the MCU is that it retroactively makes shit different, my nigga. So listen to this. This is the first MCU movie where it's pretty much multiverse crazy. Different versions of Wanda, different versions of Christine, Doctor Strange. It's just amazing. We got different versions of Captain America we threw in there. But what this makes it now, this is the third or fourth iteration of Charles Xavier we've seen. Because we're meant to assume, hopefully, this is the cartoon version of Professor Xavier with that yellow gangster hover chair. Okay? When he came out, what made me literally almost wet something was how they played the do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, yes. That was so amazing.
From the fucking cartoon. So now we've seen a Patrick Stewart. We've seen young Patrick Stewart, James McAvoy. We've seen a future Charles Xavier in Days of Future Past. Unless people assume that's just the same one, you know what I mean? And he made it from the OG Fox iteration. And now we have what might be, if not the cartoon version, a variant of the cartoon version.
Don't forget the Logan one.
Which Logan one, bro?
You know,
oh, yeah, that.
Logan.
Let's consider that the future one then. Because some people may consider the Days of Future Past one the X-Men 1, 2, 3 one. Yeah, I want it to be, but to be frank, if we wanted to play the multiverse game with the X-Men movies, I would create a whole new timeline for when X-Men Origins had Mr. Clean Ass CGI Professor Xavier walking in one of the movies, and we were like, you're supposed to be walking this whole. Wait a minute. No.
I did not like that movie.
Do you remember that movie? That was the greatest one. That was Ryan Reynolds' first outing as Deadpool. And if everything in our world hadn't gone exactly the way that it needed to, there's a chance that we might not have gotten Deadpool movies, which are the only fucking movies that are going to be able to make perfect X-Men outings, because they are willing to be R-rated movies. So we're gonna get real pieces of shit, real tantrum throwing, fuck nugget, oh, I just came into puberty and now I have my powers and I'm gonna make the world bow to me type niggas. I really wish there were more Deadpool outings where he's with X-Men and they show up and some kid's about to blow up the neighborhood because he has his powers. All I want was some chocolate milk. Now, Tommy, just calm down. I don't want to calm down. Suck my dick. And this guy's here just like, look, we come from an institute that deals with gifted youngsters like you. Gifted youngsters, you're just trying to molest me and fuck me up in the government. You can't get that. You can't get that in a PG-13 movie. Yeah.
Mutant butter slice.
They're trying to dissect me. That's some more bullshit.
Mutants.
Listen to me. My name is Charles Xavier, and I agree that is some old bullshit, butter slice. How do you know my name? Get out of my head, Charles. Charles, get out of my head, Charles. I love saying Charles like that. I don't know what happened to me. Charles. I want to do that with Dia so bad. Just put her. Come on, Dia. Do some voice acting. And I'm getting attacked by Charles Xavier. Oh, my head, Charles. Oh. That shit was such a good time. All that voice acting on them cartoons was amazing. And it's crazy that the legacy has existed for so long. Whatever. I like the movie. It had me tripping. And it is the best of all worlds, man. I love Doctor Strange. And I hope that Insomniac doesn't take 50 years to make a game with Strange in it. Oh, poor Marvel's Avengers. Yeah. See, I'd rather be lost in this chamber forever.
That Illuminati fight sequence, though, I gotta agree with you.
Yeah, it was pretty pathetic.
Yeah, that was something else where it was. Like,
yeah, when they all just got fucking served, and then the ladies go, we're ladies. This isn't gonna be happening in a couple seconds like those guys. Tag team, work together. That's my shit. And then she goes, oh, I can do this, so die. Some shit like that. I'm kidding. Her delivery was fun, no problem. I'm sure they did like a million times.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? You didn't like the delivery?
No.
I liked it.
It felt like a whimper.
I think it was kind of like shrugging it off, like, this is nothing, baby. You know what I mean? It felt a little flirtatious, like it was just, like, this is whatever. Yeah, I liked it.
It felt like she had done the take so many times they decided to go with the last one of the take.
No, I didn't like good take,
I
man.
didn't like the delivery. It felt very underwhelming and not...
Just now, Daredevil was the one who tripped down into this lower chamber, and I like the idea of a blind man. Not under... Whoa, we fighting underwater? What's happening? Oh my god, no. Get away from me! Fire underwater! Fire underwater! They didn't expect the fire underwater. Nobody does.
Breathing?
Nobody expects it.
How are they breathing?
How's who breathing?
All of them? How are they okay swimming?
Through the power of the magic of my Book of Ashanti. Come with me, yes. Avengers. What happened? Actually, Doc, I don't need your book. This suit just allows me to shut up, or I'll flood your suit with piss, Parker. They'll be calling you Pisser Parker. Fuck you, bub. This guy's got the jokes. It's 'cause he's so old. Tell us what pussy was like back in the day, bub. Oh, I'll tell you about this one slut I fucked. Ooh, this bitch was using magic. Magic for flexibility, you know what I mean? It was magical, I can tell you that. Fire underwater. Actually, it was just the burritos I had, eh, boys? Stupid. I'm sorry. It's not funny. Like, this is so childish. We're underwater. This is fun. This would be funner on a bigger TV, right? Yeah, is that the manly way to think about it? Yeah. You know, is this level and shit like that? I should, man. I gotta get a keychain that's a level. Yeah. And then the bubble will tell me. God damn it! I see these bubbles and I'm like, is this arena level? Shit. Bubbles are flying in every direction. You guys got to get the pressure check down here. You know what I mean? The Benchy in the pool. Stop. The movie was good, and I'm really pleased. But it was so good that now I don't think anything's going to compare to that.
That's one of the things. Yeah,
I
it's like
genuinely feel
what
that way.
now?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something
Speaking
I
of,
would even
what
be
is-
interested in.
Speaking of, what is next for Marvel? Is that Thor movie?
I'm vaguely interested in Thor. It sure as hell ain't this. It sure as hell isn't a Doctor
Yeah.
Strange
Thor
movie
gotta
with
win me
Wanda
over.
in it. Huh?
Thor gotta win me over.
Thor has nothing to give at this point, man. Thor has nothing to give at this
you're
point.
right.
Thor is the entire movie, and that's why it's unfair, okay? Because Thor Ragnarok was definitely a treat. Because
Yeah.
it was Thor, Valkyrie, who, you know, she wasn't written to suck yet. Marvel wasn't really ready to go crazy with the ladies yet. So Valkyrie was cool. Loki now. Loki's like, is he, ain't he? It's wonderful. So he's there now, the fucking, the rogue of the group. Hulk, my god. Hulk, Thor, Valkyrie. And I'm not even gonna just say Hulk, Thor, Valkyrie, and Loki, bro. I liked Heimdall a lot. I liked Hela a lot. I liked Goldblum a lot. That movie had enough star power to really take it somewhere. Even though the biggest stars I'm gonna consider are Heimdall, the guy who had he named the swords Dez and Troy. Who am I talking about? The guy in
I can't
Ragnarok who
remember
named
the
his
name.
swords Dez and Troy. Come on, man. I'm looking it up then.
Oh, wasn't that the guy who also played
Is his name Scourge?
the guy from The Boys and from Star Trek?
Fine. I'll stop being a bitch and admit that I love Carl Urban. Okay?
That's his
Maybe in a gay way. Because he's a fine man, he's a capable actor, and you never kick talented people out of bed, man. Some of these people, and this is the truth that you got to understand about the world around you, is if they've got the mouth on them, if they've got the fingers on them, if they've got the talent and skill in them to hit people in a way that's mesmerizing enough, they can probably get anything out of them, and that's terrifying. But Carl Urban, I think, is the kind of talent that is hilariously only as hindered as the lake that they put him in, so to speak. Like he's a fish that'll just keep growing. And I haven't finished The Boys because I love him in it so much that
I
whole
haven't
series.
finished The Boys either.
Do you ever have a show or a book or some series that you're into that you've specifically put down so that you'll always have some of it to go back to? And it's almost
Not
like if you're going to die and you know it, now you have this thing to go back and enjoy. You don't have anything like that.
I don't.
For me, that's Star Trek Next Generation. I'm keeping a couple episodes I haven't seen. And, this Carl Urban Boys show. Because I feel like The Boys was the perfect execution of what Hollywood has been trying to do with Hack Snyder's garbage movies. Is what The Watchmen tried to be, but really couldn't capture what made the comic iteration of that so great. The movie couldn't do it. And hilariously enough, they're both thanks to Hack Snyder, who's been trying to do this for years and years and years, but he's failed. But The Boys almost effortlessly nails, via literally just the carbon copying of its story, what that would be like, what real people with powers would be like. And I love Carl Urban in there. He really ties it together. I'm not so sure I love the plot of that. I remember reaching the end of the first season where he's like teleported to where the guy is the wife is the husband
the wife
or something.
is Yeah,
It's just like,
his
what the fuck?
wife that disappeared
Is
and then
the
there's
mother of the kid? Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. That it may be a little too comic book for me, buddy. But fucking,
I kind of agree with you there.
all I'm saying is, the last Thor movie did have a lot of star power for me because Carl Urban, Idris Elba with Heimdall and Kate Blanchett as Hela, and Jeff Goldblum were wonderful enough, you know? But when you have Thor doing his bullshit, and he was really, his shell had finally cracked. That's the beauty of these Marvel movies, we keep saying, is you can judge it as just this movie, but what made him so fun in that movie was that up until now, he'd been something of a kind of rigid fuddy-duddy. And now that he's now that the power is kind of stripped away from him, he's realizing how not to suck in more ways than one. And that movie was a voyage. And what they did with his character through Infinity War and Endgame had his ass on the main character status for me. Him kind of coming to terms with everything at the very end, I loved it. Infinity War had my favorite scene because of Thor. And I didn't know Chris Hemsworth could act like that. On the ship, and he's talking to Rocket, I think it is.
Yes.
Great scene. We got to go back and just re-experience some of that shit. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, Thor: Love and Thunder does not. It kind of does not.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at the list of Marvel movies coming out, and so there's that one. Then after that, there's Black Panther 2. I don't know. I'm not excited.
Quinn Grimm and Null of Clintar, I know that you've both mentioned it before, they say, Kyle, I think Marvel and even Sony are setting up Null. Remember at the end of Venom 2, they were talking about the symbiote hive mind, and in Thor 4, Gore, who connected to Null because of the sword Gore used. You're very right. And on the surface, of course I want to be excited. But how can I allow myself to be excited when we don't know how they will be implemented? And I want to literally put two options.
I think Sony would fumble Null.
You already beat me to it, my man.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say, well, what you're saying is fucking hilarious, Anil, because you might as well put a blank after I think Sony would fumble. Because they'd fuck up anything. And you beat me to what I was saying by saying, imagine if I did allow myself to get excited by it, and then Sony, the crystal dynamics of movies, was the one who was going to be pursuing it, not, the MCU. And that would tear me apart. I'd be like, God damn it. God damn it. So, look, we just got to wait. What I'm saying by what I said earlier is not to kind of dismiss or disrespect shit. It's just to literally let my fanboy come out and say my favorite kind of characters have already been explored. And they haven't introduced or set up anybody that I give a shit about. Even if Scarlet Witch came out with a movie soon, I wouldn't be as interested in it as I was in this one, because I knew this one was a Doctor Strange movie, who's my bigger favorite, and she was in it too. So they were sharing that. And she was the villain? Come on, man.
I loved Dark Scarlet Witch. Oh my god. It was really fun. It was really fun. And I'm glad Sam Raimi got to be the one to do it, because, like, the scenes with her were terrifying.
It's funny to me, Anil. When we see this shit, we're forced to go, we could have this shit all the time.
Right?
But because of Marvel's bitch-ass writing up until this point, they were trying to set so much up that everybody was sacred to the point where we couldn't play around. But if the multiverse is what's going to allow us to have people that we can kill, if the Skrulls are what we need to make it so people can die so that they can later come back, you know what I mean? Whatever it takes, do it, but don't take so long to do it that you're exploring too much territory with characters we don't care about. I understand what they're trying to do in setting up all of this bullshit. They don't just want some of the money in the world, they want all of the money in the world. But the bottom line is, you fuck with too many characters people don't care about, and you are shit out of luck. And the comic books always understand, bro, when you're bringing in these trash, funkin' waggle, fucking nobody ass Miss Marvel characters, you better stick somebody important next to their ass. Put Iron Man in there. Put Wolverine in there if you have to. Spider-Man, what the fuck ever. Get a name on that fucking thing. Because there's actual producers that are still alive that'll tell you like it is, bitch, you trying to sell this or what, motherfucker? But with some of the things coming down the line in the next phases, it doesn't seem like they're willing to at least take one of their veterans and put them in this movie just to get the ball rolling, just to get some seats in the chairs. And I think it's to the detriment. I think the more they do this, the faster the decline in interest occurs. Obviously.
Yeah.
And I am excited about one movie in Marvel's future. Can you tell me what it is? It's two. Guess one.
Blade,
you're right. So Blade is one and X-Men is the next one. And X-Men hasn't been properly announced. And as excited as I am about Fantastic Four, there's still a chance that it's directed by the wrong nigga, that John Krasinski somehow isn't in it. And if that was the case, I ain't watching that. I will watch a John Krasinski Fantastic Four movie, sure. But
I would watch the hell out of that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. That's star power, bro. What, are we not going to go see Jim from The Office as Mr. Fantastic? You know what I mean? Shit.
So as the day and hours have progressed, there's been two things that I've been seeing. Now two things. But the one thing that I saw first was a lot of people complaining that John Krasinski is now confirmed to be future Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
People hate that. Some people hate it.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know why. I thought it's
people
great.
that had that fan pick, and everyone is happy. But
this may be the first time we care enough to be at the center of a real big fan argument on the internet. This is bullshit. He's wonderful. What kind of stupid ass little kids wouldn't want? I'm gonna have like an old man-eurism.
Just go look it up once you have the chance.
Trademark, Anil. Trademark, old man-eurism. Old man-eurism. Doctor Strange said, "There's Namor. He's stuck in that bubble of air. Ugh, I can't breathe in here because I'm an underwater fish man. But first, we have to take care of the guards around him." An old man-eurism.
People that
TM copyright Kyle.
People that were not happy with John Krasinski were saying that he doesn't have to look.
Bullshit.
That he
you.
isn't a good fit because of the vibe that Mr. Fantastic has versus John Krasinski. No one should take him seriously.
Please.
And that anyone who wanted him to be it now have proof that he would be an awful Mr. Fantastic.
This is the minority.
Yes,
I have
minority,
decided.
Minority,
yes.
But enough people have been making enough of a ruckus that everyone else is going, shut the fuck up, he's good.
Yeah.
The other thing was, and this comes with a question first. How did you like the music of the movie?
It was dope.
Okay, do you know who made it?
Danny Elfman?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. You know why? I could tell. You know why I could tell? What? You don't want to know I could tell. I'm not going to let the musicologist fucking lose your mind as usual.
Here's the problem with that, for some people. Not everyone, obviously, but again, it's a minority that are being very loud about their opinion, is that Danny Elfman did use one or maybe a couple, I don't know the extent of it because I've never seen the film, but in the Justice League, there were some people were comparing and contrasting some of the music from the Justice League to this movie, and they were saying that he used some of that stuff, one of the songs from the Justice League in Doctor Strange. People are calling him a hack. People are saying that he should have retired. He shouldn't have a job anymore. He hasn't
Listen, can I say something to you?
For a long time.
And you're gonna I want you to get tired of hearing this from me. What? I don't know where the fuck you find this dribble. But past certain words, I don't even want you investing like brain cells in reading this garbage. Because like they're talking about somebody that will never know they exist. Ever. And the literal point of critique here is that, are you just stealing from your own work? What? Bro? If it was used in another movie and there should be some kind of legal things going on and it's identical, because with music, it either is or it isn't. And this is how the law has treated music as it pertains to niggas coming real close to something, but music is math. Them pitches don't lie. It is or it isn't. So, again, it's just people finding some shit to have a problem with. Let me tell you something. The thing that I hate to say about this movie is that as much as I loved it, I could feel that it was trying to yank in the direction of having even more personality and soul than it did. But because of it trying to appeal to a broader audience, it was chained to the ground as if with magic.
Yeah. Disney
magic.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart because, man, I can tell you, as a musician, the thing I love about Danny Elfman's fucking punch you in the soul music, it's that it makes you fucking bounce when you think about how the shit that he writes works. I think the Simpsons theme is so weird, you know? I think you know where I want to go with Beetlejuice, though, right?
Yes.
I almost need to play it, right? That shit, man. Shit, man. That fucking Beetlejuice music took me to another world. But what I'll say is this. Watching this movie, I didn't realize, because I obviously read it at some point, but then I forgot. But I didn't realize that I was watching a Danny Elfman scored flick until we got to the music fight. And when that kicked in, man, something in my fucking brain might as well have just let loose chemical-wise. Because I was like, my eyes were bugging out of my head, looking at this shit on the screen, listening to who I knew this was now. This was it. That one scene could have bumped it up like 3 points on a scale if I was rating this movie, bro. Because it was just so overwhelming. Just seeing and hearing this bullshit. But I have to say this. Knowing how this dude is, there is a huge possibility that maybe this is peak Danny Elfman, but this is the best that he can do now. But it is my opinion that he could have gone crazier, and that there are perhaps recordings of variations where it is more gangster. But they made him tone it down. They made it come within like parameters that more people could appreciate and not be overwhelmed by. And I'll tell you something, man. I think with all of the caveats that had to kind of accommodate this being PG-13, so we can't go too fucking in your face. We can't go too creepy. It has to be kind of Tales of the Crypt tier. It can't go much further than that. I feel like with what we were robbed there, the music could have compensated for. You can scare people with music that's not just a jump scare. And Beetlejuice's soundtrack had some of that shit that you would just... It goes hand in hand with an afterlife voodoo ghoulish kind of bullshit. It was great. It was great. It was great. It was great. But I just have to say, with the music specifically, I could feel that it was toned down. And again, there is a possibility that maybe this guy's old now, so he can't go as gangster as he was. I like to think back in the day, this nigga was farting shit out like the Simpsons theme. You know what I mean? And like, because have you heard Oingo Boingo, dude? It's so,
it's weird.
And you know I like weird. You know I love it. But shit, man. This was dope. And the idea that people had an issue with it, different strokes for different folks. But how far are you going comparing it to this other thing that he worked on and then saying he's a hack and should have retired? God damn, Dia.
I think
this guy, that guy's the Kyle of fucking Danny Elfman. What did he do?
I think, darling, that as much as you would want to never put too much attention on such negative and as to you unworthy things to talk about, it is a film, and I think in order for someone to properly talk about it, you have to talk about people that didn't like a certain aspect, people that liked it. You need to present the negative and the positive about everything, because people are going to be very polarizing, and obviously with your own take as well. I think it's very important for you to talk about the music, especially as someone that has ingested so much of this man, and your particular.
But I like to stay self-aware enough to remember that at the end of the day, I'm just some fucktard, and my opinion is my opinion. That, to be honest, might be a little bit too much sometimes. As much as I'd like to be punched in the face with some music, I'm sure other people are like, what? Why? What the fuck? Why does this need to happen? It's still happening. Oh my god, you know what I mean? But
Kaya wants to feel the music in his folds.
Continue, Dia. Sorry.
I think that dismissing them is doing the movie a disservice, because all the people that want to shit on John Krasinski, anyone who has seen this film and really enjoyed it can go, well, fuck you, and this is why. He did fantastic, and this is why. It's a point in his favor. You're not just defending this film or his performance, you're also giving everything that went into this project, you know, a little bit of a positive boost. You can't just, you know, blindfold yourself from the negative or the minority, because they're still going to be very vocal about their feelings. And I think that their opinion, even if we don't agree with it, is still something worthy to point at. Not really shine a spotlight on it, but still talk about. Because it is important to go, hey man, that's how you felt. But I think that his performance was great, or I think the music was fantastic.
I'm glad that you had appreciated the movie, though, Anil, because I feel the appreciation of that's going to hinge greatly on how much of a fucking Doctor Strange or toxic Scarlet Witch fan you are. And I like to think this is a pleasing movie for both.
Yes.
And I wish that I knew a bunch of women who were toxically infatuated with Scarlet Witch the way that they are Harley Quinn or some other bad role model. You know what I mean?
I remember people were going crazy about that, the scene from the trailer where she talks about, you know, you break the rules and you're a hero and I do it and I'm the enemy.
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, I remember people were going crazy about that.
What the comedy was.
What they're gonna think
when she just goes full Karen in the movie.
When she goes full fucking crazy bitch in the movie, you know?
Like nothing else matters but my kids.
Yeah.
What about the other Wanda? What about the other Wanda, bro?
She was like,
look how mangled I look coming out of this mirror.
I loved that scene. I loved when she came out of the mirror like that. That
was
like
the fucking funny part of her coming out of the mirror like that was what word do I want to use? The believability, the plausibility of all of their reactions where they didn't move because they were like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If they could have used the fuck in that movie, they should have used it right there. Like, what the fuck?
That really cemented, like, oh, this bitch is fucking crazy.
I was like, I think I'd be paralyzed to look at some shit like that too. I'd be like, what? Are we doing that? It was the shock of it
Like,
being a Marvel movie too. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, is that okay? Like, I was looking around.
Demon shit.
I was looking around like the FCC was gonna be there. Like, whoa! Who put that in there? Yeah. No, it's fine.
You waiting for her to pull Annabelle out of that mirror with her?
Shit, the reflections, bro. I'm like, oh, you guys are fucked, man. Are you gonna cover up all the puddles in this rainy ass building? Nope. But yeah, they go to Willy Wonka Land. I just liked it. I thought it was ridiculous how the Illuminati kind of got offered up on a platter, and the irony of that in the big picture of things is that we as comic book fans were desperate for that to see almost anything from the comics in the fucking movie. Right. And they're like, you watch your Illuminati? Check them out, guys. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Anyway, let's go back to our universe. Fuck me.
Man. Rip John
funny.
Krasinski. First he gets fucked up by blind aliens. Now he gets fucking Play-Doh'd by Wanda.
And that had to pop like a balloon. Oh, yes. Yes, Rooney, bro. You needed to show the decapitation. The severing. Damn it.
My God, when she made that guy's mouth disappear and he fucking...
and his head sagged into... Oh, my God.
that shit was something
Give me some of that. Give me some of that,
was not
baby.
expecting for them to show that.
Well, it's not that bad. That wasn't bad.
It was still pushing the envelope for what I
thought. Oh, no, man.
PG-13.
For me, I don't think they really went far in any direction. I really like the mangled her coming out of the mirror. I really like the sagging and the kind of Play-Dohing and then balloon pop. I think the jump scare of her breaking the neck is super effective. Especially because it was like a demonic looking one, which kind of if they went a little bit harder with that, it could have been like a real Lord of the Rings moment, man.
Even when she was like full like chasing them and she was got like stepping on the broken glass and you could see her like shambling after them.
I really hated it. It was just like it was like a movie that was cut up in pieces, and I wish we could get an unrated version. I'd buy the fuck out of that.
Me too.
And I want, unfortunately, to have to be real enough to admit these Marvel movies on the fucking cutting edge of movies now, because almost exclusively because they're the only ones making movies now. What they need to be aware of going forward, and it's a shame that this isn't something that everybody's making abundantly apparent, Anil, is shoot a movie, a badass movie. And if you have to put the PG-13 version in theaters, release an unrated version, bro.
Right? They're not doing that anymore.
We buy the shit out of that. Come on.
Right? Absolutely. It seems
and
like...
it's so weird.
Like
we're in a world bro, where they retroactively gave money to some fucking director to try to correct the abysmal bullshit that was his failure of a garbage movie, bro. That's the world we're living in now. So why can't they shoot a movie with all the blood and all the vision and the heart and fucking soul of whatever bitch-ass director wants to do this before he gets canceled, bro? And then release that unrated version and make a cut, a PG-13 cut, and put that in theaters. Make your fucking money. Make just as much money, son, when that other version of it comes out. Because I'd kill for an R-rated version of that. I remember that scene where it cut to the glass. But I almost had to think, whose feet are those? Is it Wanda's feet? Because it was so fast to cut away as not to do the whole, oh, well, we're not that kind of movie, but well, we can show you the feet almost touching the glass. You know what I mean? Continue, Dia. I'm sorry.
My mom told me that apparently they cut like 40 minutes of the movie out.
What movie?
Multiverse of Madness.
40 minutes?
There were 40 minutes of film.
But let's say, let's let the reality of life seep back into our passionately fan blood-filled veins. how much of that you think is just America Chavez bullshit?
I was just thinking that, yes.
And that's why I said you gotta give props to Sam Raimi, because he understood.
If that turns out to be what was cut, my nigga saved his movie.
Yep.
Saved it.
He most certainly
10
did.
more minutes would have been pushing it. 20, nigga? 30? If they
40.
condensed it down to 30 from that 40, I would lose my mind. Too many characters I don't care about. I care about Strange. I care about Wanda. Immediately connected niggas to him like Wong. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, Christine. He cares about her like that? I mean, I guess my niggas earned a little bit of pussy after all of this bullshit in the universe, but come on, man. There's other fish in the sea. You a grown-ass man. You a grown-ass man, bro. This is like high school, I don't know, crush bullshit where you can't get over it and they got a nigga. Like, what? The cuckening of Doctor Strange. Tyrone showed up and said, oh, hell no. Are you Doctor Strange? I'm kidding. But
that was the wedding was another scene that I was like, I was kind of in awe of when that the guy came up to him was like, you know, yeah, I got snapped too. I lost my cats and all this and that, and like, you know, sometimes I wonder, could it have been better? Like, he's straight up confronting Strange. I'm like, damn.
it was great because thinking back on it, the scene bored me to no end. And I really wanted to see what this guy was getting at. And then I realized we're at a fucking wedding for this stupid bitch. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm like, oh no, go back to the other guy. I thought he was really gonna like attack Strange now. This would be great. Like he pulls off his hat and he's actually some kind of wizard or some shit. And he's gonna carve up this whole fucking wedding. And he's like, no, not in front of my old girlfriend. And then here comes America Chavez, dude. Okay, man. And like, you didn't hear this part, I think, in the beginning of when we started talking about this. Dia and I noticed very quickly that something Strange did seemed to slice off tentacles as an immediate attack that Strange did. So why he didn't just keep doing that one super effective attack until it was just a flopping mass of nothing was super confusing. And it was almost like cartoonish. In a way that was like, okay, this is cute for the beginning of the movie, but if it goes on for too long, it'll be dopey. So Wong shows up, he's got a war for a minute, and you know, he gets that eyeball and that's that. But then it goes into the scene with her in the fucking shop, and they're just like, oh, Spider-Man, he shoot webs out of its
Wong
butt.
in this movie.
Huh?
I loved Wong in this movie.
Yeah, Wong really strikes a really wonderful tone, you know?
Yeah.
And Wong was a respectable motherfucker from the beginning as well, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Super cool guy. I really loved the sequence with that girl who destroyed the Darkhold. What's up?
Something to put a smile on your face.
Sam Raimi says he and Danny Elfman worked on a sequence dubbed The Musical Battle. We're trying to really make it polished and as fine as we can until they pull that negative from my dead hands. Oh my god. It was really cool. Oh, let me see that picture again.
It's like a young them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, visuals were great. That scene, the music,
send
the
that
visuals,
to me, send that to me.
Everything.
That scene, man, is bigger than the movie for me personally. Another was when he,
can
I say something scary?
The demon cape.
I want to say something scary to you, and I don't think it can be the case.
What is it?
I don't think it can be the case. I just want to... I think it's the gayest fucking thing I'll ever admit. I was really blushing during that scene, man. It felt bigger than the movie for me personally. And one thing I was thinking while I was quickly trying to read some of the music, but bless my heart, I was too overwhelmed to figure out what I was seeing. I was trying to see if the music matched up, Anil. But I'm gonna be able to see again real soon. Real soon, my man.
Yeah,
So,
I can understand. I can see how that would totally do that for
if
you.
it went that far, because the scene already, like I said, is a love letter, I think people who don't give a shit about this fucking movie are gonna appreciate this sequence.
Yeah.
Why is The Dark Knight that Dia brought up the superior movie for me? Because even non-comic book fuckboys can appreciate that whole ass masterfully crafted movie.
Absolutely.
People who don't appreciate comic book bullshit, they're gonna be able to appreciate this musical battle sequence. Cause it's gonna be like one of those. You remember back in the day when you'd find some amazing YouTube video with some fucking weirdos doing some crazy dumb idea that they just thought up? That's what it's gonna feel like this perfect thing that exists independent of the movie. And I'm really appreciative that these guys chose this stage to do what I believe existed as an idea before Doctor Strange. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, man. What makes this movie a 9 is that fucking music sequence for me. I don't know what I was looking at, but to assholes like me, it was crazy. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. And I want to know the fucking truth. Were they working on something like this? And when the movie comes along that they can fit it into, they'll do it? How long? I just want to know. I want some trivia, but we can wait for this fucking movie to get settled, man. I appreciated it.
I was so worried with the production that they were gonna really hold Sam Raimi back, but I'm glad he's shown through in the movie. You could feel like this is a Sam Raimi movie.
And like I said, I can be a baby all I want and be like, I wanted more Sam Raimi. I wanted more Sam Raimi. If this is what we needed, if this was the most Sam Raimi that I could get and have it still be a Sam Raimi movie, then I'll take it. I'll take it.
Agreed.
And I don't want to say like I was surprised, because I was just willing to see what the movie would be. But yeah, man, to think that it'd be one of my favorite fucking comic book movies of all time, that's scary. Because for me, Dark Knight and The Suicide Squad by James Gunn are just like the top. They're the cream of the crop now.
Absolutely.
I gotta talk to you about something, man. Dia and I just started watching this goddamn anime. I'm keeping my voice down because I respect it like nothing I've seen in over a decade. Dia and I started watching this anime called Spy Family.
Oh.
I wasn't sure I loved it until I saw the intro. And I am mixed, because what I want to tell you is not to look up the intro and to watch an episode and then watch episode 2 into when the intro organically plays. And
okay.
I want to be a little bitch. I think it is the laziest thing in the world to just constantly compare something to something else. We can call it Dark Souls syndrome, where all the game reviewers were just kind of saying it's the Dark Souls of something. Lately, when something is bombastic and vibrant and crazy and, you know, impressive and outside of the box, as far as animation is concerned, people like to say, oh, it's like Into the Spider-Verse. But this intro to this anime, man, I think it's
me intrigued.
I think it's really invoking some things. And when you understand the type of show that it is, I'm going to ruin it by saying this to you. The intro is teeming with the vintage style of what this medium represents. The animation, the style, the choices of color, the execution of the style of, because can I say it? It's in the name, man. It's in the name. It's a spy thing. So when I can name things that I've seen before, that it feels like this is influenced by just in looking at these glimpses of certain styles, my God, bro, the intro itself is just it's a work of art. It's a work of art. But I didn't think that I'd like this stupid little show as much as I am. And Dia and I made it to the end of as much as they have made so far. But it's gonna be up by the bebop, man. We've only seen a couple of episodes, but it's got that pussy ass heart that you can't fight. I don't think there's a lot of things I could admit. The heart's earned, it's deserved. You can't fight it. And this is one of those scenarios. Recently I was watching Slice of Life, Comey Can't Communicate with Dia, and the reason that show sucked me in is because they shut the fuck up in the first episode and let this girl write on a chalkboard. So we had to do some reading, and the show became a fucking manga for a moment. And I was like, I will watch this. You know what I mean? And before I know it, I gave a shit.
To watch it.
Huh?
I still need to watch it.
Oh man, I've said too much. I was giving that show shit. Dia's always gonna have that to throw at me. Is I was like, what the fuck? This some more bullshit. Look at all these. Look at this nigga's design, bro. How you gonna sell merchandise of this boy? You can't even cosplay as him. You gotta explain who you cosplaying as? I said that to Dia. Did I pause it to say all that, Dia?
Yep.
No, I'm the worst.
I remember when you were reading the list of the creepy girls stories, and that guy was talking about cosplaying Yuri on Ice, and I lost my fucking mind laughing because I know that fucking anime.
Oh.
I haven't finished it.
Now, listen, I feel like I got a little colorful when I was talking about what kind of motherfucking butterfly.
Anime a little fucking... That anime gay.
That anime gay, dear.
That anime big.
So I may be the meanest guy in the world, but I know sometimes. I didn't know the anime, but something told me, man. Something's going on with this dude.
I enjoyed the hell out of that anime, but yeah, eat gay.
That's not even to say that it can't not be enjoyable, but I feel like the kind of guy cosplaying as that, and then not liking being touched by girls. Hey, man, being grabbed by ugly girls is an experience, okay?
Yeah.
But
he must have been one fucking pretty boy.
But that's the point. It is a price to pay if it means some of these girls, hey, whoa, you got what's going on online? You know what I mean? Jesus. And for him to describe the experience as traumatic, and I was like, God damn.
Yeah, it was,
and I know that makes me feel like a bully because of the context of the list. The whole list was about, a certain thing, and I'm in here like, now you listen, you motherfucker.
that was my favorite part of the list, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh my god.
you go off. That was so great.
What are you doing? Oh my god, Dia's hot.
No, you kind of
Babe,
had that
I'm
anime
sorry.
pegged.
Look. I'm gonna turn on the AC for Dia, and then Dia, don't worry about the convo now, okay? Just. I'm sorry. I'm getting the thing, but it says it's coming tonight. So it'll be the last time. Like we even.
Also, I never said hi, Dia.
Oh, he's saying hi now.
Nope.
Okay. He's saying hi. She's saying
forgot.
hi. Okay. Oh man, yeah, we're both kind of like melting here. What What? I can't believe we've been streaming for 2 hours and 14 minutes. I didn't even want this to be long in case anybody sat through it, but damn, I can't say good enough things, because I can probably say that if the movie didn't have all 4 of the things that I told you about, I wouldn't have loved it as much. But it had all 4. It had the Sam Raimi moments, even if they were short. I'm telling you, there's this part where a bunch of those ghoulish fingers was like coming over Strange's face, and the animation just looked wrong. And I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? And I want that feeling to like wash over me for at least a good couple of minutes. The way that I knew that it used to in the fucking 80s, 90s, you know what I'm talking about? With them weird-ass movies that they didn't care.
When he made those guys into a cape, that shit. That
was cool, man.
That was
he dementored off. And I really like, look, I like the music fight. I like the mutant representation, even if this dude showed up just to get dead. To see full Scarlet Witch, I really like it too. Literally, he wheels out and goes, "We should tell him the truth. Listen, if you ever get out of here, you should make your way to the Book of Vishanti. Oh my God, my brains!" And he gets his fucking neck split. I don't know why I said my brains. Oh yeah, because she went into his mind too. Ooh, yeah. I'm in your mind now. Oh my God, this is full Scarlet Witch. It's full
head,
House of M Scarlet Witch, and I couldn't be happier. Music fight, mutant off. You know what I mean? Crazy. I'm not a monster, Steven. I'm a mother. Sam Raimi bullshit. Thank you. There's one fucking amazing scene in the movie for me, and it's very, very quick. It is when they get Benedict Cumberbatch to give the most character-breaking Frankenstein scream as he assumes control of the corpse. It's easy to forget.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a scene in the movie where Benedict Cumberbatch goes, "Oh!" when he's taking control of this corpse. And I was like, what? Yes! That doesn't belong in this movie. You know what I mean?
Face close-ups, man.
Dude!
All over that movie.
The scene when they're in the pipes running away from Wanda and the thing closes and it zooms in on one of their faces and it zooms in on another of their faces and it zooms in on another one of their faces and then it zooms in on the tunnel and then it zooms in on Strange and then it zooms back to the tunnel and then it zooms back to Strange, back to the tunnel, and then she zips in from the right side, and you're like, what?
Was in there.
Fucking kidding me, man? That scream. I'm gonna find that scream for you tonight. Man.
Please do. Yeah.
No, man. Yeah, I'll find it online. No worries. It's not gonna be me. Somebody has it, I'm sure. We're gonna find that part of the movie, and I'm gonna put it out there, guys. I love you. I didn't realize how much I was bathing Dia in the heat. I saw her put a water bottle under her bibs. No, Dia, it will be cold now. Well, look how far I got in whatever game I'm playing. I am so sorry, but guys, I love you, and Anil, I'm glad that you could enjoy it. I'm glad that you
absolutely,
because it was definitely a surprise for both of us, and a welcome surprise at that. We thought the movie would be even more convoluted. It wasn't that convoluted, but it was a great balance, and I liked it.
Yeah.
And I need to go review that music thing if I can find it, as well as get you that Frankenstein scream. And I hope it's as amazing as I remember
definitely.
It. I really do. I really do. So, guys, I love you. I'm sorry to anybody who did not like the fantastic Mr. Fantastic that you saw, but that's just a universe as Mr. Fantastic. All of them people are dead. It's not just him. All of them are dead. This was just to go, oh, look at him. You know, look at this grizzled version of him. He won't have the beard to signify that he's younger when he shows up again. My God. Who could hate John Krasinski in this role? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
It's wild.
I'll see you guys later. Neil, take it easy. Thank you. Much love. Everybody have a beautiful night. Balls. Later, man.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Take it easy, everybody. From Atlantis, with love.